Hello, Darshan. We will still wait while your other classmates are joining the session.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will still wait for a few minutes if others are joining. Okay, in the last session we have seen uh, array DQ, Q as collection API. Is anybody having any issues? We also have seen set and preset. Is anybody having problems with these collection API classes that we have seen? Anybody having any difficulties in understanding? Okay, fine. Then from the set interface, we have okay, no problem. Okay, from the set interface, we have already seen tree set and hash set. Now, set is having only these two classes in implementation. Today, now we are going to see map interface. Map is again using hashing in the backend. So, if we use map interface, then as you also search maps on Google, you already know that it is having some latitude and longitude numbers associated with a particular place. In the same way, map is stored in the form of key and value pairs. In the sense, if I give you one real life example, then your phone directory is not stored on the base of index. It is stored on the base of name, contact name, and numbers. In the same way, map is going to work for that in that sense itself, where it can store key and its value. Key is the name. Key could be date of birth. Key could be address. Key could be email. And its value is the actual value of date of birth, or actual value of address, or actual value of age and everything. So it is usually stored in terms of two different types of data types. The first thing to remember is it doesn't work on indices, that is the first thing. And secondly, it works on key and value pairs. So you need to have pair of maybe string, comma, int, comma, string, or whatever type of data types you wish to use in storing the data on your map. Now, I can simply create the object of map like this. And as it is an interface, it cannot be instantiated. Yes. Now, map cannot be instantiated because it is an interface. So we need to find the implementation of this interface. So map is implemented on HashMap. So map interface is having HashMap as its subclasses. So we can implement map in terms of HashMap. And if we want to create the object of HashMap, I'm simply writing here HashMap. Now it can be instantiated. And what all methods this now this map object can have. If we see here, there is no such method as add over here. But we have a method put, and we also have a method get. So here add and remove, remove is there for sure, but add is not there. For putting the values onto the map, we can use key and value pair, like I said before. It is written here object because we haven't used generics yet in your map. So it can store any kind of values for now. If I want to be more specific, I can definitely use generics. If for now I am not using generics, just for now, then I can put the values inside this map in the sense. Say for example, I am putting name and I am using string as name. I can put date of birth. I can put date of birth as one of the string. I can put address of particular contact that I want to save, and I can put the address of that contact. Like this, I am currently putting key and value pairs. Now if we want to be more specific, or if we want to add generics over here, then you can use generics like this. But again, it is in terms of k and v, meaning key value pairs. So here currently I am storing string comma string. So I am mentioning here string comma string as the generics. Now if I try to call the put function, then it will be only allowing me to put string value and string key respectively. It is not allowing me to keep integer or any other data type because I have used generics over here. Again, if you want to print your map, you can simply print by using SOP statement. Now if you print this, then yes, it is storing like this. Just keep one thing in mind, as it is HashMap, it uses hashing technique in the backend to store the values. So values will not be in the order as you have entered, but they will be hashed and they will be stored in by using of some mathematical formula. So according to that only the values are stored. So we are not able to print it in the same order that you have added over here. One more thing to notice is it is using equals to store the key and value pairs in the backend. It is using equals to refer to the key and its respected value. Another thing to notice is in all the collection API classes that we have seen so far and that we have printed using SOP, we have always seen square bracket for printing. Whenever you simply print using SOP, it always prints using square bracket because they are simply collection of single values. But your map is kind of storing multiple keys. Along with that, respect to this key, you have separate value for that key. So it is printing using this curly brackets. That is again one thing to notice. Another thing that I want you to see is if I try to add same key, if I try to add the same key with a different value, and now if we try to print, then the same key with the value will not exist. Like in your phone records, it will ask you to overwrite the existing name or phone number. If it already exists, it asks you that do you want to create a new contact or do you want to update the old one. In the same way, it is automatically updating the old one and it is replacing the old record with the new record. So if you have multiple similar keys, then you must have different values, or else it will simply override the original value and keep the new value in place of the old value like this. This is one thing to notice, that multiple keys cannot exist. The key has to be unique all the time. However, definitely you can repeat the values as much as you want. Values can be repeated, but your keys shouldn't be repeated. That is one thing to notice. Like contact name cannot be written twice in your phone. Contact name is a key, but values can definitely be repeated with multiple different types of keys, but keys cannot be repeated. That is one thing to keep in mind over here. Another thing is, if you don't want to print everything in one go, but you want to get a value of a particular key, then we use the function get. Get is used to retrieve a particular key's value. In the sense, if I want to retrieve date of birth, I can simply mention here that I want to retrieve, it should be in double quotation, yes, I want to retrieve the value of date of birth. Then it can give you the exact value of that corresponding key. But if in simple SOP statement, if we try to print the map, it is printing using equals to and comma separated values. If I want to retrieve single values, then I must find a mechanism to iterate over these records, right? To iterate over these keys. If I find some mechanism to iterate over name, date of birth, address, and whatever other map that you are putting here, whatever key value pair you are putting here, Then for whatever pairs and values you are creating, if you wish to iterate over this complete set, complete map, then you will need some mechanism so that you can use get function in same way, in such a way that you can put here I, and that what is I? I is nothing but a variable that is iterating over this complete keys. If that is the scenario, then we could be able to fetch this records using for loop directly, and it will be easy for us to manage this, records, see these records in a sequential manner. Or if you want to do some manipulation individually, also then also it can be done. If you had something to iterate over all this, map keys. Luckily, we can definitely not put here name, DOB, address stuff for multiple, times. But if you want to do such thing, then you have one function here which is a key set. And what is this key set doing? This key set function is retrieving all the keys of your map and returning a set of type string. Meaning all the keys of your map can be retrieved and stored in one set variable. Then if you iterate with the help of that set, you can easily get all the values respective to that particular key. So if I use key set, it is going to store this in a set of type string. I am simply naming it as, say for example, values. Then I am currently storing what this statement will do. Retrieve all the keys and store it in the variable values. Now in the for loop, we already know how to iterate through these values. We know it is of type string. So we can take our variable iterator I of type string, and we can put that for I in values. I want to do something. Say for example, I simply want to print I first. If I simply print I first, it is going to print all the keys. Now if I want to print along with this I, if I want to fetch the record also of its value, then I can simply use I dot. Directly we can use map dot get. Sorry, the function was map dot get. What do you want to get? I want to get a particular key. Which key? The keys are stored in key set, and key set is stored in values, and values is getting retrieved or fetched by single I. So we can put here directly I. So map dot get I can simply retrieve all the values corresponding to your current key, which is stored, extracted by your key set, stored in a set values, which you are iterating through variable I. And as it is of a type string, I can simply put here string. That is the reason I can get values like this individually. And if you want to manipulate, then you can simply manipulate map dot get I. Now whatever you want to do with this I, it is totally your choice. How you want to change it, how you want to manipulate it, it's totally your choice. Like that it can be done. Is anybody having any questions so far? Yes, is anybody having any questions in them? Okay. Okay, fine. Then that is it. This is your HashMap. And also just take care that it is never stored in the sequence, in the way you are ordering, the way you are entering. It is always hashed, and as it is HashMap, it is all automatically hashed. And that is it. From your map interface, we only have one class over here, HashMap. And I just would like you all to see this classes once, and let me know if anybody is having any questions in these classes. These are the classes regarding your collection framework or collection API. Just look at the classes and let me know. Collection itself is one interface, And we also have seen one more class, collections, where you get all good methods for sorting, reversing, shuffling, binary searching the elements in your any of this you know collection. Just look at these classes. Is anybody having any queries? You can ask me right away. Yes, is anybody having any questions in the collection classes that we have seen so far? Okay, okay, okay. Then we are done with the collection API. I don't want to start a new topic right now. So I want you to perform a few questions on file handling. I think few of them already in the lab they have started. If you have not started, try to perform these programs. They will not be done in the lab one more time. I am sharing the programs here itself. Please start working on these questions. If you are having any problems, of course, I am here for you to discuss the questions. I'll discuss the questions and then you can start working on that. We are not going to spend one whole lab session for these questions. Some of you have done few of them. They can begin with the next questions in order. And those who have not started, I am explaining the questions one by one. Let us try to create files and implement file handling in your device. So for those who just had the lab today, they have started working on the file and they have started with the fourth question. I think they have finished the fourth question, wherein they have to write the data in the file in append or non-append mode. One thing I would like to correct here is that you need to separate these lines with /n. So for those who have done these programs today, try to change your program in such a way that it uses the facility of /n so that the lines are added not in one line, but you can have multiple 3-4 lines so that we can see how to also retrieve the data line by line in your coding. Just change this one thing and then you can share your screen for the program. Others who have not started with the file handling or they have just yet the lab is yet to come for the week. For those, we can start working from this point itself. The first thing we are going to do here is creating the text file if it doesn't exist. So to create a text file, we can simply, we already have done this in class, we can simply create the object of file class, and you can give here the path where you want to create the file with this separated. If you want to create the file in D drive, then D drive, whatever under which folder you want to create the file, this should be your folder name. Okay. And now the file that you want to create. Simply by passing these string parameters, you can make your file object point to this file. Now the question states that if file exists, then you don't have to create. If the file is already present, then print the size of the file, name of the file, path of the file, and whether it is a directory or a file. To print these four things using if the file exists or not. So you have the command if the file exists or not. If it exists, then you need to print the name of the file, which you can get using getName function. Then you also have getPath function for retrieving the path of the file. You also have the function length for retrieving the length of the file. And you also have functions like isFile, or you also have functions like isDirectory for checking whether it is a file or a directory. So you can print this data using SOP. And if the file is not there, then we need to create this file. To create the file, we use the function create new file for creating a file. Just keep one thing in mind. Creating the file object will never create the file. Creating the file object will simply point to that location of the file. It will never create the file. To create a file, we have to mention create new file, and you can, along with that, you can print also that file is created. That you can print for users readability, that file is created like this. So everyone, please try the first question. If anybody is struggling with anything, you can unmute and let me know. For those who have done these programs today in the lab session, they can just small change they have to implement first. Try to open the file in whatever mode you are opening, that is okay. But write the files using /n so that we can have the lines appear in the new lines. Those who are doing the file program for the first time, I am sharing my screen. You can see, you can get the idea of how the file is created and what all methods you can use. If you are not able to understand anything, just let me know in the chat box or unmute yourself and talk to me. Oh, okay, good, good, good. So now you are getting the lines in a new line, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, good. Okay. Then we will see how to retrieve the data from the file. So you can even create the text file manually if you want, that is okay. Or you can even overwrite the content of the file that you have recently created. But we are going to write few lines like this in the file with few numbers only. Okay, like this in different lines. Once your file is written, you can even write it by file writer, or you can even go into the file manually, open and just now you already know how to write the files. So you can do that. Delete the contents and write these lines like this, and then save the file. What we are going to do next is we are going to read the data of this file using scanner line by line. To read the data from a file, you can definitely use scanner to accept inputs from user. That is for sure. You can create the scanners object and you can mention here system.in for making the scanners object point to your input stream. But if I want your scanners object point to a file, then I do so. Then I read it from the file. Yes, of course. So for whatever file you are pointing here, if you want your scanner to read that file, then of course you can write here the name of the file from which scanner has to read henceforth. Scanner has to keep on reading this data from this file line by line until it has reached the end of the file. So we can create an infinite loop, something like this, which can say that till your S, which is made currently point to reading this file, till your S is having next line, means till your file is having lines, your S has to extract line by line. So you can create one string and store this data in string. This will retrieve the first line of your file. If the first line of your file is 5, then currently your str is holding data 5. Now when again it reads the next line, the pointer will shift to the next data 10, 11 till it is reading till 100. So just to see for now whether it is extracting the data correctly, you can print str and you can check whether it is extracting line by line or not. That is the first thing. Another thing is if it's extracting properly line by line, then you need to convert this str to integer and create one global variable sum and sum all these integer converted numbers and print the summation at last. Print the summation that file is having. So some summation of total summation of this, the record in the file is this. Are you getting the question here?
Yes, ma'am. With %, we have to convert it.
Yes, yes. With parsing, you can convert your string to integer and sum that integer, and at the last you can print the summation in the console itself. Next step is we will be writing this data to the same file. In the next step, once you finish this, then we can append your file with this contents. We can append your file and we can print that the sum is whatever is the summation. That is the next step. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is anybody done with the first question? If anybody is facing any problems in the first question, just let me know. I will help you out.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not able to append integer.
Yes, so please share your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it shows me only character.
Using file writer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you can append strings here. So you can convert your integer to string and then append it because it is a text file, no?
But
So
still,
you
it is
can
like allowing me to append only character, not even string.
fr file writer.
There are three constructors, and all of has argument as character only.
Character sequence. Just try to append one string also. Oh, append function you are using. That is right. Oh, okay. Write function you have to use. Function is right. Yes, yes. And to open the file in append mode, you need to change the constructor and make it true. Remember? In the
Yes,
constructor, you need to change. Otherwise, write is okay. Yes.
right.
Write is okay. Yes. And we can write the number. Yes. And append this empty string at the end. That's it. Or it is automatically converted. No? Okay, done. Now, in
Yeah.
your line number 19, yes, on your line number 19, new file writer f comma true to make it in to open it in append mode. Yes, yes. Now please run it and check. File not found is okay. You need to give the exact path along with the complete
I
location
need
of this.
to close now file.
Yes, yes. But the exception is file not found. So it is unable to retrieve the location of the file. So where is
Uh,
this creator? Yeah, you have to just create the complete location. Yes, yes, yes. Or it is putting double slashes. Just undo it one more time. Undo it and remove the double quotations and then put it.
from where, ma'am?
See, it is taking 4 backslashes. Remove the extra 2 backslashes. Yeah. And remove one additional backslash in this outing before C. Yes. Yes, then this. Now please try. Okay. Now, can you go to your file once? Can you show me your txt file once? It is a string, no? So the reason it is not converting it into integer. Remove all the strings and write 2, 3 numbers. Yes. I think there is one more. Okay, just try it one more time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done?
Yeah, I have to
Now,
check in the file if it is appending or not.
yes, 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 yes.
It isn't showing me
Yes,
like
yes,
the
yes.
sound.
Yeah. You go back to your and just append an empty string at the end of this number. I think it is taking the ASCII value only. Just append the empty string so it will understand it as a string and then append it. Just concatenate yes, empty string plus something. Yeah. Now close the file. No, the file might be open. And yes, the file is also having this dummy character. No? We
Oh
have to
yeah.
take out dummy characters. Otherwise, it will be counted as one of the characters. Yes.
Yeah, now it's showing.
Yes. If the cursor was down, then it will, you can add slash and you can make that cursor down. That is,
Where shall I add that?
yes.
But like where shall I add the like slash
Slash.
n?
Before this sum only, you can put slash n. Yes, inside double quotation, you can put slash n. Oh, the summation is 329, right? Now it
Yeah,
is.
because of the previous summation.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's working.
Good. Yes. Done that. Now, uh, your first question in your lab manual, it is very simple. Let me share my screen. Yes. Yes. You can always read the data using scanner, that is okay. So it is very simple. Write the main method that takes the name of a text file as command line argument and prints every line in lowercase. Just input the name of the file from user and print the data of the file by using two lowercase. What the question?
Ma'am, command line argument means which
Command
one?
and argument. Yes. If you remember, we have done that in using command prompt and notepad. This string args that you write now, that is receiving the command line arguments. This we have done in your array section. So how can user enter the command line arguments? So let us see how to process them first, then we'll see how to enter the arguments. To process it, it is simple, array of 0. And it is of type string only, right? So we can store it in some string variable if you wish to. And you can make your file object point to this location by creating the file object and stxr inside it. Simple. First thing. Secondly, how user will pass these command line parameters. So if you have uh, your class and if you wish to pass the command line parameters, then I am currently simply saving this on desktop.java. I am simply printing this command line parameter here. File handling is a later part that you already know how to pass string parameter here in file. To pass the command line parameter, we can open the command prompt window. We can compile the file and okay, I have to put one more bracket. And whenever you are running, you can pass the name of the file here. And whatever is written when you run the file, along with this Java command, are the command line parameters, and it is retrieved in your string args array, this array. You remember this session now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you can do it like this. To pass the command line parameters in your NetBeans, I have to just give me 1 minute. I have to, not here, there is a tool actually which you can use for setting command line arguments here in your NetBeans that I'm checking. But this you can do it in your notepad. Let me see how to do this in your NetBeans. Oh yes, from here I think. Java. No, no, not here. Let me research here how to debug that probably. No. Okay, that I will let you know. But here you can do using your this command prompt. Okay, you can try this program using command prompt. I will let you know how to pass this command line arguments in your NetBeans. I think it is from run, then set project configuration, then we go to compile, then we go to new. That I will let you know, but you can try this in your command prompt. Okay, please try it using your command prompt itself.
Can we do that in next class?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. We'll do that in the next class. Just keep this in mind, although that you can use it in the next class. I will take the attendance. Then you all can leave the session. Mm, yes. Ayush, how many people are there? Okay, you all can please mention your enrollment numbers in the chat box. You can mention your enrollment numbers in the chat box and then leave the session. Please. Yes, Dhruvi, Yash, Vibhusha, Manyar. Yes, yes, no problem. You can mention your numbers and then leave the session. Yes, please mention your numbers in the chat box and then you all can leave the session. Yes, yes, please mention your numbers in the chat box. I haven't taken the attendance. You can mention the numbers in the chat box and then you can leave the session. Yes.